The breath of flame, the purgatory of the ubiquitous nine. Boom! The flame column roared past, and everything along the way was completely shattered. Even the magic stone in the monster's body was burned to the ground by the terrifying flames. OM. The sun-wheel knife in his hand swung violently, and then slowly retracted into the scabbard. Looking back, there were corpses behind him. P.S. This is the last chapter of today. I wrote it in a hurry. It should be restored in tomorrow's update. Thank you readers for your support. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 40 Trouble picking up dropped objects, fugitives on the 10th floor. After the battle, Li Yiming immediately slumped on the ground. Facing the number of killer ants just now, among them there are a few strengthened individuals. Even if such a monster is only equivalent to a LV.1 adventurer, the sense of oppression it brings is very terrifying. Li Yiming's current physical fitness is still a shortcoming, and it is not easy to be able to achieve this level. Sitting on the spot and resting for a while, his physical strength also recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye. After regaining the ability to move, Li Yiming stood up slowly, looking at the mess around him. His mood became complicated. A large number of broken limbs are scattered on the ground, many of which have been recovered by the dungeon. The battle just now was so violent that he smashed the magic stones in many monsters, and there was no time to collect them. As for the remaining ones, they still need to be excavated one by one. At this time, Li Yiming began to envy the World of Dungeon Encounters anime version. As long as the monster is killed, the magic stone will fall by itself, and there is no need to dig it out with your own hands. Not only is it more convenient, but it can also save more time. How can it be like this now? How handsome was the fighting posture just now? How embarrassing is his back? It looks like I need to find a supporter when I enter the dungeon in the future. While complaining in his mouth, the movements of his hands did not stop at all. After all, as an adventurer, the source of income is only the magic stone in front of him. Although Li Yiming can make money by making or repairing weapons for others, he doesn't particularly like that kind of life. Once in a while may be okay, let him work on the iron for a long time, let him be spared. After an hour, most of the dropped items and magic stones were collected, and the remaining bits and pieces were thrown aside. Li Yiming's physical strength recovered again, and he felt that he was still in a healthy state. His original plan to return to the ground was changed again at this time. It's all here, take advantage of this opportunity to go deeper. Although it is not possible to go too far, it is still no problem to go down a few floors. However, this time it is not to try to fight, but to explore the structure of the dungeon a little bit, and learn about the attack methods of monsters on deeper floors. In the same way, by the way, some of the materials here will be judged, such as the quality of the falling materials, the level strength of the monsters, and so on. Intentionally avoiding fighting, Li Yiming reached the 10th level smoothly. When walking out of the rotating passage, the surrounding environment began to change. The underground cave turned into a pure white field. The white-gray tender white branches have no leaves, and the grass is like a silver-gray wilderness. It seems that the entire area has been smeared with a layer of silver, like a missing color. In Li Yiming's line of sight, many more powerful auras than the killer ants are looming. Just as he was observing the surrounding layout, a burst of noisy footsteps suddenly came from a distance. In the depths of the silver wilderness, several figures were rushing towards the stairs at high speed, each of them had more or less faint scars. This seems to be a team of adventurers consisting of 5 people. Judging from the leather armor they wore and the shields they held in their hands, they didn't look like rookies, but they weren't powerful adventurers either. They could only be regarded as senior adventurers among the lower-level adventurers. Not far behind this team, Several huge green-skinned monsters were chasing them. Seeing that the distance between the two phalanxes was getting closer, the green-skinned monster had already caught up within a few breaths. Yiming, a young man wearing leather armor and holding a shield, turned his head and saw the monster that was close at hand. He immediately looked at his companion in front of him with horror, and shouted loudly, "Help me!" Puff! Before he could finish his words, he was hit on the head by a huge wooden stick, accompanied by a sound like a watermelon breaking. The lawn was stained red with blood, and then his broken body smashed onto the grass. Damn it, Tom was killed too. Stop talking nonsense, hurry up to the upper floors, these half-orcs are not something we can deal with, run. Witnessing the death of their companions with their own eyes, the remaining adventurers were all plunged into endless fear. The threat of death weighed on their hearts, and they wished they could grow 2 more legs at this moment. The direction in which this group of people were running was the entrance of the staircase where Li Yiming was. There are still people in the dungeon at this time. It's really hard work, but the appearance of being hunted down is really embarrassing enough. Li Yiming had a panoramic view of all the situation and couldn't help shaking his head. Although Oleli is the city of dreams, adventurers are also glamorous, but they are not as gorgeous as they appear on the surface. They often face much more life and death crises than ordinary people. If you want to become a master, you need to pay a corresponding price. Perhaps, ordinary people become adventurers, that is, from the bottom of one class to the bottom of another class. Huh? There are really despicable methods. Just when this idea appeared in Li Yiming's mind, the situation on the field changed suddenly. Among the adventurer team, a Palom, little human, carrying a huge package ran at the forefront, and several others arrived at the intersection one after another. But when the green-skinned monsters approached, the Palom supporters suddenly, a companion behind him directly grabbed the backpack and pulled it back forcefully. The huge force instantly made her lose her center of gravity and fell directly to the ground. And the half-orcs who swarmed over had already raised their sticks. P.S. I want to go home in the city today. The update should not be delayed, but there may not be any updates. I am really sorry. I will work hard to code when I am free tomorrow. Thank you readers for your support. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 41 Who is the hunter? Who is the prey? Thanks to the monthly pass of Extremely Cold and TNG, what a pity. The supporter of the Palom clan fell to the ground, his face hidden in the hood showing a look of despair. On the other hand, the adventurer who did all this did not show the slightest guilt on his face. Instead, he had a look of reason, and even had time to explain to the rest of his companions. Anyway, it's a useless supporter. Being able to attract firepower is already the greatest use. We usually spend so much mana to support her. Now it's time to make sacrifices for the team. The high-sounding words stunned the other adventurers almost at the same time. However, the fear of death soon overcame moral values. As long as they can survive, the life and death of other people has nothing to do with them. This is a true portrayal of the hearts of some adventurers. Peter is right. Compared with us adventurers, supporters are not worth mentioning at all. It is only natural to make sacrifices. Let's escape first, and then bring someone to rescue her. That's right, go to the ground and call for support. With a few words, the only remaining guilt in everyone's hearts completely disappeared. They turned around with cold expressions, no longer looked behind them, and completely abandoned their former volunteer companions like throwing garbage, in exchange for their chances of survival. Only the supporter of the Palom clan was left, crumbling under the attack of the orcs. It really made me see a wonderful scene. Li Yiming, who had witnessed the whole process, stood on the stairs with a disdainful sneer on his face. Sure enough, there are scumbags everywhere. Disgusting, but that's what humans are. The sudden sound made everyone show vigilance. On the only way to the upper floor, Li Yiming was looking at them without any emotion. Obviously he had seen everything that happened just now. It also means that the murder of the supporter was also seen by this kid. The Adventurers Guild clearly stipulates that adventurers are not allowed to fight privately. Anything can be resolved through the arena of the Ganesha Familia, or directly start the Familia War. If you kill other adventurers in private, the consequences will be very serious. Of course, rules are dead, but people are alive. The Adventurers Guild can't maintain surveillance on all adventurers at all times, and the dungeon is also very large, and some adventurers with unscrupulous intentions will choose to seek wealth and death in it. There are even some adventurers who directly work in Orario. Since their behavior is seen by others, it is natural to deal with it. Hey, kid, did you see anything just now? A tall man with white hair and red eyes holding a red blade walked towards Li Yiming without any trace, and asked in a rough voice. In the process, he did not forget to wink at the other companions. All of a sudden, several adventurers surrounded Li Yiming directly. However, the latter didn't care about the actions of these guys, they were just a bunch of jumping clowns. If you are referring to your despicable actions just now, then I have indeed seen it. It is really an eye-opener for me to do such things with peace of mind. However, if you think about it, you don't dare to fight half-orcs at all, but you are quite proficient in dealing with humans, so are you trying to kill people now? Heh, we didn't want to at first, but if you want to blame, you can blame yourself. Why did you just happen to be here? Why did you just happen to see that thing? And in the next life, remember what you can say and what you can't say. Cruel smiles appeared on the faces of all the adventurers, and almost all of them drew their weapons. There will be no other adventurers coming here for the time being, so no one will know what we have done, so you can go with peace of mind. Rest assured, with that damned Palom accompanying you, you will not be alone," said the tall man with white hair and red eyes before. Hearing these words, Li Yiming raised his head slowly, looked over the crowd to the Palom supporters who were not far away, and the other party was almost unable to hold on. "There's no time to chat, this is what I want to say, you won't be alone." "What?" Li Yiming's words made everyone feel puzzled, even full of disdain. They didn't feel any powerful aura from Li Yiming's body at all. The other party's ordinary appearance, apart from being a little handsome, didn't have the posture that a high-level adventurer should have at all. A low-level adventurer who wants to fight against so many of them is looking for death. However, the next moment they paid the price for their contempt. The breath of the sun, the shape of one, and the round dance. The ferocious flames arced past, and even Li Yiming's figure flickered past. The adventurers who were so arrogant just now, who wanted to kill and silence them, didn't react at all at this time, they only felt a scorching temperature whistling past, followed by severe pain. Looking down, everyone's chest had been left with a deep and visible scar at some point. The high temperature scorched the wound, leaving dark marks that only appeared after being scorched. "What?" Ear-piercing screams sounded one after another, followed by the sound of heavy objects falling. Only those who are innocent can sleep peacefully, you just lie on the ground and enjoy your last time. Li Yiming turned his head to the side, his eyes were cold, and then he jumped straight down the stairs and came directly to the central area of the orcs. P.S. Today's second chapter, the following chapters will be released at night. Continue to ask for collections, flowers, monthly tickets, evaluation tickets. Thank you readers for your support. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 42. If you do something wrong, you must pay the price. Asking for flowers, asking for collection, asking for evaluation tickets. Breath of the Sun 12 Shapes Flame Dance. Above the silver wasteland, bright flames shot out instantly. Just in the blink of an eye, the terrifying flaming sword energy roared past, igniting even the sparse weeds on the ground, and the original silver world instantly turned into a sea of flames. The bodies of all orcs were rigid and severed from the waist and neck. With a gust of wind blowing from a distance, the flames swayed slightly, and all the previous roars and the peculiar stench of orcs were blown away by the wind. The strength of half-orcs is not as terrible as imagined. Compared with killer ants, they are stronger in body and stronger in strength, but their speed is not outstanding, and their number is only this level. Li Yiming put away the blade calmly. Everything in front of him had turned into wasteland. He probably understands his specific strength now, at least among the lowest level adventurers. He is definitely the type who has no opponents, and some weak LV.2s are not his opponents either. If you wait until the 5 basic ability values are improved, it is not a fantasy to leapfrog to fight. However, if you want to increase the speed of acquiring proficiency, these half-orcs are good training objects, but the number of monsters needs to be further increased. Are you okay? Withdrawing his gaze from the half-orc corpse on the ground, Li Yiming looked down at Palom, who was sitting on the ground. No, I'm fine, thank you for saving me, adventurer. The care of Li Yiming flattered the Palom supporters, who were in despair. They wanted to get up, but they had just been dragged back from the brink of death. They were exhausted and even lost the strength to stand up. It's fine. If you can't stand up, just sit down. That's not shameful. No one can keep calm in the face of death, even me. Take a good rest. I still have some things to deal with. After the voice fell, Li Yiming moved his eyes slowly. In the direction he came from, that is, farther away, the previous group of adventurers were already looking at their position with dull expressions. The scars left on the body did not reduce the pain at all, making everyone's facial expressions quite distorted. They seemed to have messed with the wrong person. Just one knife? The half-orc group that made their temporary team defeated was easily and freely solved. During the process of swinging the knife, brilliant flames appeared, which obviously belonged to the power of magic. Adventurers with magic are the backbone of each family, and they are not something that low-level adventurers like them can provoke. In addition to the long knife in the opponent's hand, even though there is no inscription on the knife, the pattern of the chaotic blade is extremely exquisite. It is obviously a high-end product, and the adventurer level of the man in front of him has at least reached LV.3 or above. Now it's your turn. Li Yiming slowly came in front of this group of guys, his voice full of flatness. However, the movement obviously didn't carry any murderous intent, but it made all the adventurers lying on the ground feel horrified, as if a hand was pinching their throats. Even breathing is stagnant. You, don't come here. We were just joking just now. As for pushing that Palom, we didn't do it on purpose. We just want to survive. You can't kill me. The Adventurers Guild does not allow adventurers to fight privately. If you do something to me, my Lord God will not let you go. At that time, what you will face is from the Adventurers Guild, and even the whole of Europe. You don't want to face that kind of situation with Larry's adventurers pursued. As long as you let me go, I can give you everything on my body, and we can make friends. How about it? Noticing the gathering of Li Yiming's gaze, the former white-haired and red-eyed adventurer hurriedly begged for mercy, with threatening words mixed in, trying to survive. After hearing his words, the other adventurers who were still in a daze rushed to speak. Yes, that's right, you can't kill us, we were just joking before. If you really do something to us, the family members behind us and the Adventurers Guild will never let you go. If you let us go, we can hand over what we have as compensation, and we can also make friends. Olele is so big, there are many friends and many paths. For the sake of a mere Palom, there's no need to make the relationship so deadlocked. What do you think? Everyone looked expectantly at Li Yiming, nervously waiting for the latter's response. As for the supporter of the Palam tribe who was in deep crisis just now, his face hidden under the hood showed a complex expression, but he didn't know what to say. It seemed that all she could do was to persuade her. That's right, she wanted to persuade Li Yiming not to be impulsive and let these guys go. Although the group of guys in front of them were all scumbags, they were right when they said something. Murder is a very serious matter in Olele, and it is an iron law that is absolutely not allowed to be violated. Even if you are unwilling, it is better to stop Li Yiming in order to prevent Li Yiming from being stupid. However, before the supporter could speak, Li Yiming spoke first. Sounds good, I believe in friendship and would like to show that friendship is mine first. The uneasy adventurers looked happy, and when they were about to say something, Li Yiming's expression froze, and his painting style changed suddenly. Friendship can indeed build a solid line of defense, but I will never impose friendship on someone who doesn't need friendship. Unfortunately, you are not among my ranks. You made this decision, then you need to pay the price for it, no exceptions. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 43 Lily Luca Erdi. Be her enlightenment godfather. Asking for flowers, asking for collection, asking for evaluation tickets. While speaking, Li Yiming had already pulled out the sun will knife again. The adventurers who thought they were saved fell from heaven to hell in an instant. The opponent's powerful strength was simply not something they could resist, let alone being seriously injured now. You can't kill us, otherwise the Adventurers Guild and Lord Shangshen won't let you go. Everyone roared at the top of their lungs, as if they were in the final madness. However, no matter what they say or do, they can't shake Li Yiming in any way. If he just betrayed his partner and let other people take the lead, at most he will save people instead of killing these evil guys. But blame them for wanting to kill people. Li Yiming never forgives too much those who want to do him harm. Yasahi may be able to obtain unexpected benefits, but unfortunately, he is not Yasahi's hero, nor does he have the heart of the other party who can tolerate everything. Unfortunately, no one will know who killed you, so your threats have no effect on me. After all, the dungeon is full of dangers, and people will unfortunately die in the mouth of monsters every day. I believe this reason can be accepted by the Adventurers Guild and accepted by other families. Even the excuses have been found, obviously there is no room for maneuver. All the adventurers made eye contact in private, and they all saw the fierceness in the depths of each other's eyes. Go to hell. Since you want to kill me, there is no need for me to continue to bow down to you. As long as the smart people are very clear, if they can't defeat or kill Li Yiming, then the next thing waiting for them may be death. Either way, they are dead, so they have to strike first. A wise choice, but unfortunately, you don't have that ability. The sun will knife in his hand slashed across without mercy, and easily cut the throats of several adventurers. The crushing strength made Li Yiming do all this without any effort. Simply lift the knife in your hand and chop it down, you can take away a fresh life. Screams came and went, complementing the scene of blood spurting. After a few breaths, there was only one special one left among the adventurers who rose up to resist, that is, the culprit who yelled at Li Yiming and threw down the Palam supporters. Looking at the deaths of his companions, this strong man was on the verge of collapse. Ding dong. The blade in his hand fell to the ground with a crisp sound. No, don't kill me, I can apologize, it's all my fault, I shouldn't use other people as bait, I shouldn't have the idea of killing people, it's all my fault, please don't kill me, I swear, I will never say anything about this matter today, please. The white-haired, red-eyed man knelt down on the ground, begging constantly, his head hitting the ground frantically. Due to the excessive force, his forehead was even bleeding, but in order to survive, he ignored the pain and continued to maintain his movements. Are you going to kill him yourself? Li Yiming ignored the picture in front of him, and suddenly looked at the little people in the distance. Huh? Being asked suddenly, the little human race was obviously at a loss, and his heart was a little moved, but in the end he shook his head. His expression was very calm. It's still not necessary, thank you, Mr. Adventurer, for your kindness, but I am used to the betrayal of adventurers who form a temporary team. Killing people in Orario is a felony, so I... Don't you dare. Li Yiming was obviously dissatisfied with the other party's answer. It is one thing for betrayals to happen frequently, but it is another thing for them to not even dare to return their hands after encountering betrayals. Sometimes, if you are bullied and dare not resist, then it is your own fault. What a disappointing answer. I originally thought that you would choose to resist anyway, but now it seems that you have chosen to obey in this deformed environment, so there is no other way. However, I still want to give you a piece of advice. As long as the humblest person keeps his eyes open, he will be able to seize the opportunity sooner or later to take revenge on the most powerful person. Revenge is the most delicious dish only when it is indifferent. I hope you can understand the meaning of these words. Goodbye, no one will save you so well next time. After the words fell, Li Yiming swung his knife and beheaded the last adventurer, then dug out and put away the magic stone in the half-orc's body, turned around and walked towards the stairs. The strength of the orcs has been seen, and the next young dragon and the more powerful minotaur will be saved until tomorrow. It was getting late, and Li Yiming didn't plan to spend the night in the dungeon. As for the crime scene, there is no need to deal with it personally. Whether it is a monster or a dungeon, they can be cleaned up on their behalf. As for whether the supporter will leak this matter to the public, Li Yiming doesn't care. No one can prove that he killed someone, if the supporter was really ungrateful. Li Yiming doesn't mind killing one more person either. Looking at the figure that was about to go away, the little human who fell into deep thought because of that sentence came back to his senses in an instant, summoned up the courage to raise his head, and shouted in Li Yiming's direction, "Master Adventurer, thank you for your help. Xian, I remember your advice, and I will try to change it. Also, my name is Lily Luca Erdi, and I will repay you in the future." What responded to her was only the slightly shaking right hand. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 44 Lord God, I will come back alive. Asking for flowers, asking for collections, asking for tickets. After an hour. When Li Yiming walked out of the dungeon, it was already late at night. The hours-long exploration was exhausting physically and mentally. Now that he returned to a safe environment, Li Yiming immediately felt very relaxed, and even the starry sky at night became extremely beautiful. The life of an adventurer is indeed full of all kinds of excitement. However, it is also very tiring. Walking on the verge of death is not something everyone can bear. Therefore, most adventurers who cannot accept this kind of life will choose to give up entering the dungeon and switch to some easier jobs. Li Yiming has seen a different life even after coming to Olalai not long ago. No matter how the surrounding situation changes, his goal will never change. Since he has the opportunity to come to the capital of the gods and has infinite possibilities, he must not be willing to fall. No matter what, at least I have to become a strong person, and experience the love with the goddess. Whether it's Hestia, the god of kitchen, or He Faith, the god of forging, Li Yiming likes it very much. As for Loki, the god of tricks, forget it. After all, there is really nothing Loki can make people like. You can hear people confessing their love to Hestia or He Faith in Orario, but you will never hear a message from a male adventurer who loves Loki. Sure enough, Pingyuxian has no human rights. Achoo! At this moment, The sneezes from the three goddesses sounded in no particular order. However, I never expected that the supporter I rescued would be Lily Luca. It's a little surprising, but it's a pity that her will is almost exhausted, and she doesn't even want to try to resist. Think about it. As a supporter of the Suma family, I have done my best just to survive. Sure enough, I still don't have the talent of the protagonist, so I'd better not have anything to do with her in the future, and save this kind of thing, let the future hero Belle do it. However, the goddess Hestia can't be handed over to that guy Belle. We have to think of a way, how to get the love from the goddess Hestia before the rabbit appears. With this idea in mind, Li Yiming didn't stop at all, and quickly disappeared into the night. Squeak. There was a rattling sound from the wooden door. In the darkness, a figure entered the room lightly. It was Li Yiming, who had just returned from the dungeon to the Faith family. His movements were gentle along the way, and he didn't run into anyone. Presumably no one could find out that he had left the family residence, so naturally there was no need to explain too much. Phew, no one has noticed. Let's rest now. I have to go to the leader tomorrow to continue learning forging skills. I don't know when I will be able to create magic equipment. After a long sigh of relief, Li Yiming lit the magic stone lamp on the wall. But when he turned around, he froze in place, with an embarrassing expression on his face. On the bed near the wall of the room, Goddess Faith Hitos in everyday clothes was as beautiful as ever, but this time she looked at him with a half-smile. Obviously, Li Yiming's soliloquy just now has been completely heard by Goddess Faith. This is really bad news. Master Shang Shen, you haven't slept so late, what do you want from me? Li Yiming bit the bullet and greeted Faith. However, it is obviously unrealistic to muddle through at this time. Good evening, Yiming, I have been waiting in your room for a long time, but I didn't expect that you would come back so late, can you tell me where you went? It didn't sound like a questioning tone, but it was full of undeniable flavor. Li Yiming hesitated a little, but in the end he could only tell the truth. Sorry for keeping you waiting, Lord Shang Shen, I couldn't sleep at night, so I went to the dungeon to practice on my own level. I'm only coming back now, sorry, I didn't inform you in advance. Did you really enter the dungeon? Not feeling the lie, Faith sighed helplessly. There is no need to apologize for this kind of thing, but I still want to say that although our Faith family is a craftsman family, we will not stop it. Members enter the dungeon, Yiming, there is absolutely no need for you to be so sneaky. The dungeon at night is very dangerous. If you are so reckless, I will be very worried about you. With a slightly reproachful tone, coupled with the eyes of Goddess Faith Hitos, Li Yiming was very embarrassed. This kind of concern has not passed for a long time. I'm sorry, Lord Shang Shen, I know I was wrong, I will pay attention in the future, and I won't worry you anymore, Lord Shang Shen. Li Yiming patted his arm as if to verify the authenticity of his words. Actually, don't look at me as a newcomer, but I'm not as weak as you imagined, I can protect you. Puff. Li Yiming's words came to an abrupt end. The soft touch and charming fragrance completely enveloped him, and before he could react at all, his head was already embraced by Goddess Faith. Even though there is an obvious height difference between the two, this action seems quite normal. In a daze, Li Yiming seemed to hear the whispering voice from the goddess. I know you are very powerful, but Yiming, no matter how powerful you become in the future, you must remember that I will wait for you to come back in the family residence. Ah, I see, Lord God, I will come back alive. P.S. 12,000 flowers to add more, and I still owe 13 chapters to add more. I owe a lot, I will work hard to make up for it later, this will be useful after it is put on the shelves, don't worry, it won't cash. As long as the grades are good, no matter how much I get, I will be satisfied. I will have nothing to do in the next few days. I will stay at home and code. Thank you readers for your support. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 45 The Ascension of Terror, the Last Hero of Humanity. Thanks to the monthly pass of Ice and Snow Zero Cat. So, you just entered the 10th floor alone. In the room, Goddess He Faith's face was extremely calm, but everyone could hear the blame in the other party's words. Li Yiming, who was a little happy because she became stronger, became very embarrassed again at this time. It seems to be a little carried away. However, there is no way to do this. After all, adventurers cannot lie in front of all the gods, and even malicious thoughts will be noticed by the gods. Even if they want to hide it, it will be useless. Master Shang Shen, I'm fine, and I've killed several half-orcs, at least in the upper area. Even if they can't beat me, I can escape. Have you ever defeated a goblin? It was another surprising remark. If Hertos hadn't sensed that Li Yiming was lying, she really couldn't believe that a newcomer who had just been an adventurer for 2 or 3 days was able to go deep into Li Yiming by himself. In the area of the 10th floor, the orcs were defeated. This kind of brilliant record has never been seen in the whole Olarico. You are still a child who is too good to be too good. It seems that it is a very wise decision to let you join the family on a whim. For it. In the end, was it because of the goddess whim that he was able to join the He Faith family? This answer really made Li Yiming feel a little frustrated. Okay, don't feel frustrated. I was just joking. At the beginning, I thought you were very sincere, and the family members really needed fresh blood. I just didn't expect that I would find the treasure. Lie down first, let me see how you will change after defeating the orc. Take off your clothes. In a slightly quiet room, there are lonely men and widows, and this speech is a bit like a wolf and a tiger. However, this is also what Li Yiming is looking forward to. Becoming an adventurer, being bestowed with the favor of the gods, has the possibility of becoming stronger, but it must be renewed by the corresponding head god of the family. Therefore, the secret that Li Yiming has a lot of skills is absolutely impossible to hide for a long time. Instead of being persecuted there and delusional, it would be better to be generous. Goddess Faith is also a very good god, and she is very gentle to her children, so there is no need to create barriers. Li Yiming hummed, walked to the bed, and lay down on the bed. She didn't seem to feel that there was anything wrong with it. The red-haired goddess was also sitting on the edge of the bed. Since she came hastily and didn't bring any tools, she could only bite her fingers with her teeth. A drop of divine blood dripped onto Li Yiming's back, like a pebble falling into a calm lake. The blue sacred text appeared, and every character in the status bar was floating and changing. In addition to the rapid increase in the basic ability value, new sacred text appeared in the skills and magic bars. Your growth is really. He Faith slowly opened his eyes wide, looking at the constantly changing final value in surprise, and then slowly freezing the final value. Li Yiming. LV.1. Strength, H158 rightward arrow E453 durability, I85 rightward arrow F362 delicacy, H120 rightward arrow E420 agility, I139 rightward arrow E411 magic, I0 rightward arrow G289. Development ability. Forging B. Magic. Mole of Love D. Use the magic mole to charm the opposite S*X. Women who come face to face with him will have strong loving feelings towards him. Skill. Almighty Man. Sometimes can get unexpected improvement. Breath of Flame. Enhance physical ability. / can emit extremely scorching flames. Transparent World. Conceal your grudge. The ability to predict actions and dodge attacks will be greatly improved. Able to see the opponent's body structure clearly. Breath of the Sun. Enhance physical ability. / can carry the terrifying solar fire. Increased damage to evil enemies. When fighting with evil enemies, the full ability is greatly increased. Zebra. Increase heart rate and oxygen supply capacity, greatly enhance combat ability. Able to help recognized people to open stripes. Brave C. Annihilate mental interference such as coercion, confusion, and confusion. Basic attributes are doubled during the battle. Entering the dungeon for the second time, this kind of growth is really unbelievable. Too fast. In just one day, or less than a day, all the basic ability values have broken through to 3 digits, and there are so many more comprehensive skills, Faith doesn't know what to say. Especially the extra skills, any one of them is enough to greatly increase the strength of a certain adventurer. But when these skills are all gathered together, no one will know exactly what kind of improvement will be obtained. The only thing that is certain is that that person will definitely be very strong. In addition, the additional levels of skill suffixes and the newly added magic all made Faith feel refreshed, which had never happened before. I don't know how to explain it at all, so I can only attribute all the credit to the Almighty Man. Her Faith's expression became extremely solemn. Could it be that Li Yiming is a descendant of a certain hero who took over the duties of the last hero and was born to crusade against the 3 major commissions? If this is the case, it can probably explain why she has so many rare skills, and her growth rate is so unbelievable. Coupled with the introduction of Zebra, it can help people around you to open up the same skills. The situation became more and more serious, and the last hero of mankind became her child. Thinking of this, the corners of her Faith's mouth slightly outlined a pleasant arc. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 46 Having a Mole of Love, doesn't this open a big harem? Asking for flowers, asking for collection, asking for evaluation tickets. The shocked Faith fell silent, and the room became silent again. Li Yiming didn't bother, he probably knew what his goddess had seen, so it would be better to give enough time to digest it by himself. As for him, it would be better to honestly play dead. Yiming, I have locked your ability value. Unless there is an unlocking potion, no one can see it. Regarding your ability and magic, you must never tell others, including members of the family including Tsubaki. Do you know what I mean? Faith came back to his senses, and while rubbing Li Yiming's state on paper, he gave instructions. This is not the first time she has said such words. Anyone with a discerning eye can see the potential of Li Yiming. Among Olelai, there are many people who understand the sacred script. Just in case, it is better to lock it up. It would be very troublesome if other family members knew about it. I know, Lord Shangshen, I'm not that stupid, and I won't expose my situation. After answering solemnly, feeling her Faith's soft palm gently patted his back, Li Yiming got up slowly, and took the paper on which his status was printed. The above content is even more exaggerated than I imagined, and the increase in basic ability value is especially exaggerated. Originally, I thought it would be almost 100 points, but I didn't expect that the minimum limit for upgrading, that is, the value of a single ability reaching 500 points is only a few dozen points. But this is undoubtedly good news. The rapid increase in the basic ability value proves the correctness of Li Yiming's idea, and it seems that the concentration of monsters can be increased appropriately in the future. Thank you for updating the state of grace for me, Lord Shangshen. After a brief understanding of his basic situation, Li Yiming expressed his heartfelt thanks to Faith Herdos. It's too exaggerated. You don't need to thank you for this kind of thing. It seems that our relationship is very distant. Yiming, you have to remember that you are the child I approve of. We shouldn't be too estranged. Although I know you like Hestia, and I hope you can win that guy's favor, but if you are too serious, I will also be jealous. Li Yiming. There is no way to answer this. It is impossible for him to say, whether it is Hestia or Goddess Faith, he wants both of you, right? If he really dared to say such words, he was afraid that his own goddess would smash the dog's head off on the spot, and maybe he would be kicked out of the family. It would be better not to say that kind of thought. Huh. Her Faith, who sensed something, looked playful, and looked at Li Yiming with burning eyes. You seem to be thinking about something bad. Nothing, I will remember what you said, and I will correct it in the future. Li Yiming responded urgently. Obviously, she already knew that Li Yiming was lying, but he Faith did not expose it. Although she couldn't know what Li Yiming was thinking, she could still guess the general range. The red-haired goddess didn't feel offended. It's normal to be admired by her own children. Even he Faith Tas really hoped that Li Yiming could shift the focus of her admiration from Hestia to herself. The fat and water don't flow into outsiders' fields. Even if you are a friend of God, you still can't make concessions on this kind of thing. It's just that this kind of thing can't be rushed, let it take its course. It's getting late, Yiming, you should go to bed early. Her Faith stood up slowly, and walked slowly to the door. Li Yiming also got up quickly to see her off. When she arrived at the door, the red-haired goddess stopped suddenly. Steps, turned slightly, with a touch of teasing in his eyes. In addition, regarding your magic, you have reached the right age, but I don't want you to abuse your magic and do anything wrong. Do you understand what I mean? Hearing this, Li Yiming's body froze suddenly, and a look of shame and indignation appeared on his face. How could he do such a thing? Even if Li Yiming has the idea of wanting to hug left and right, it is definitely not in this way. There is a big difference between being romantic and being obscene. Master God. Seeing that Li Yiming was a little angry, he Faith chuckled lightly, and didn't give him a chance to get angry. Dang even turned and left the room, leaving only a burst of fragrant wind in place. Li Yiming, who had nowhere to vent, could only sigh, and stepped forward to close the broken door. I really didn't expect that even the goddess Faith began to learn bad things and was keen to play tricks on people. In other words, maybe this is the true appearance of the forging goddess. Madaku, Lord Shangshen will also have such bad tastes. It seems that we should be mentally prepared in advance in the future, so as not to make a fool of ourselves during the conversation. However, it seems that my goddess has such a small temper, which seems to be very good. Li Yiming, who was lying on the bed, kept echoing the words of Goddess Faith Hitos just now in his mind, and the thoughts in his mind also fluctuated slightly. In the quiet environment, his breathing gradually became steady. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 47 One-Eyed Giant, the blacksmith will be LV.5 in front of him. Asking for flowers, asking for collection, asking for evaluation tickets. Bright sunlight streams into Li Yiming's bedroom through the window. Feeling the faint warm light, Li Yiming faintly woke up from his sleep. It's been a long time since I slept so comfortably. Even though he only came back in the middle of the night last night, and a lot of time had passed in the communication with Goddess Hitos, the increase in strength made Li Yiming less dependent on sleep than before. In addition to being able to grant amazing physical strength, Chang Zhong also has a significant increase in recovery. To put it simply, Li Yiming may only need to rest for 4 to 6 hours to recover the exhausted physical strength and energy, which is simply the best news for him. Chun didn't come to kick the door today, which made him feel very relieved. Sitting up from the bed, he walked to the window and looked out. The courtyard was as empty as ever, and there were not many figures at all. It seemed that none of the members of He Faith's family had returned from the dungeon. But think about it, there are not many people with talents, and he is not the only one who knows how to work hard. In addition to the blacksmith shop on West Street, the He Faith family also owned property in the Bubata, and most of the members basically gathered there. Therefore, it is normal to not see too many people here. After a simple wash, take the initiative to find Tsubaki. I don't want the door that was repaired the second time to be damaged for the third time. If this continues, I will definitely suffer from a nervous breakdown. Looking at his poor door, Li Yiming didn't know what to say. He Faith's family is more manic than he imagined. If Chun kicks down his door like this again, Li Yiming will really start to seriously consider whether to move out. Who can endure the life of leaking air every day? Skillfully came to Tsubaki's room, and knocked lightly on the door. The door is unlocked, come in. Tsubaki's voice came from inside the room. Li Yiming unscrewed the doorknob, and the scorching heat rushed over his face in an instant. It was obvious that Chun had already woken up and devoted himself to the forging business. As for why he didn't come to call him, that's not clear. Passing through the room, the wall with a gap is the passage leading to the forging room. Even if you just stand outside, you can hear the sound of iron hammering from it. It is worthy of being the most powerful blacksmith in Orario, and no one can match this diligence alone. One-eyed giant master, this title is well deserved. Captain, here I come. Yo, good morning, Yiming, the time is just right. Seeing Li Yiming's arrival, Chun stopped what he was doing, with a bright smile on his face. I saw her throwing the mold she made into the coolant. Tsitsize. Steam rose all over the sky, mixed with an unpleasant metallic smell. Today's plan has changed. I originally planned to continue teaching you basic forging skills, but during this period of time, I have used too much force. I have almost used up all the ores, and other advanced materials have also been used up. I have to go out to buy them. Let's go together and go to the market to see if there are any suitable materials. Do you want to go out? Li Yiming, who was looking for a reason to give up learning forging temporarily and focused on exploring the dungeon and leveling, suddenly had a bright eye. Isn't this a ready-made reason for sending it to your door? Looking at Tsubaki, who was cleaning his hands and dressing, Li Yiming suggested without any trace, Commander, there are very few precious materials on the market, why don't we go to the middle area to find them by ourselves? We can forge while looking for materials, it can also exercise ability value, kill 3 birds with 1 stone, what do you think? Enter the dungeon. Hearing Li Yiming's words, Tsubaki paused slightly. She didn't think about other places, but thought about the feasibility of this matter in her heart. As the only first-level adventurer of the Faith Familia, Tsubaki was able to obtain this kind of strength, all by going to the dungeon obtained by trying out a weapon you crafted yourself. Usually, I often go into the dungeon, and finding materials is also commonplace. What you said is very reasonable. You are also a newcomer, so I will take you to the middle level to study for a while. By the way, I will teach you to identify the most precious materials on those monsters. But let me say it first, the monsters in the middle level are powerful, and the situation is complicated and changeable. Just the 2 of us go, and you will act as my support for the time being. You must obey the command in all actions, and don't act rashly, otherwise I may not be able to protect them in time. Do you understand? While speaking, the dull hair on Chun's head swayed slightly, with a serious expression on his face. Having achieved his goal, Li Yiming naturally responded, "Don't worry, leader, I can protect myself and won't act recklessly, so don't worry." Okay, let's make some simple preparations, about 1 to 2 weeks worth of food, and then we'll set off. In the end, Tsubaki agreed to the proposal to go to the dungeon. She really wanted to go to the dungeon to look for some materials. By the way, she also wanted to cultivate Li Yiming's combat ability in the process, and strive to let the opponent take charge of her own side as soon as possible, and accumulate enough ability points to upgrade. At that time, she will not be in vain to cultivate it. Li Yiming hurried back to the room and put on the initial equipment. As for the rations and so on, they can buy them on the way later. Maybe, entering the dungeon this time can also update the equipment on his body. If you can find the right material. P.S. New day, continue to ask for collections, flowers, monthly tickets, and evaluation tickets for support. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 48. Perhaps, this is the hero. Thanks to the monthly pass of Wang Yet. Bathed in the morning sun, Li Yiming and Chun walked side by side among the mighty team of adventurers and entered the dungeon. Orario can be called a labyrinth city, not only because of its complex structure, but also because of the existence of dungeons. Through the entrances of each passage, the adventurers of Orario began to disperse towards the surrounding caves, and stay away from other people during the exploration process. This is an unspoken rule of all adventurers, and there are naturally experienced and lowest level adventurers. Those who go directly to the lower level. Most of the newcomers still choose to explore steadily, and first get acquainted with the life of adventurers. Li Yiming and Chun are naturally not in this ranks. The magic stones and materials dropped by the upper-level monsters are far from meeting Tsubaki's needs, and the equipment forged is not satisfactory, so it is necessary to continue to go deeper. As he continued to move forward, the surrounding adventurers also completely disappeared. In the not-so-wide passage, only the fire on the wall was flickering, and goblins began to produce from the wall, charging towards the two of them screaming strangely. I don't know if it's an illusion, but Li Yiming always feels that there are fewer monsters around. Don't be too weird. I told you before that the dungeon is alive. It will automatically detect the adventurers who enter the dungeon, and then create various monsters to drive them away. If the strength of the adventurer is far beyond the strength of the monsters on the current floor will not create too many monsters to die. It should be because of my colleagues, so the number of monsters will decrease accordingly. I see. Li Yiming nodded in a sudden realization. Do dungeons still have such rules? Don't be in a daze, I will explain the basic situation of each floor to you in detail later, and I will leave these goblins to you to deal with. Please move a little faster, time is precious. Leave it to me. Looking at the group of goblins that were not too dense, Li Yiming stepped forward slowly and drew out the long knife at his waist. The moment the long knife was unsheathed, there seemed to be a buzzing that shook the air. Wow wow wow! The bloodthirsty goblin roared loudly, and Li Yiming stepped forward with a knife in hand. Chi! The head of the goblin in the front that was rushing towards him was easily cut off with a single knife. Facing the dozen or so goblins that surrounded him from the opposite side, Li Yiming slashed the blade horizontally and slashed forward without hesitation. The sharp blade instantly cut the goblins in the front row. These weak monsters have been unable to cause the slightest obstacle. Chun's eyes flickered standing behind her. Even as a blacksmith, her combat prowess was still good, so she could naturally see the subtle changes in Li Yiming. Obviously, this little guy's strength has improved again. It's getting stronger and stronger. Quickly collect all the magic stone fragments, and then move on. Yes, Captain. Li Yiming nodded, stepped forward, and dug out the magic stone fragments from all the goblins. Of course, Tsubaki is not what she said. She only let Li Yiming take charge of the support task, and she also joined in to help collect all the dropped items. The mess was quickly cleared up. The two stopped staying and walked towards the corner of the passage ahead. The layout of the upper level will hardly change, and only from the middle level, the dungeon will be like a maze, except for the occasional fog that rises, and the terrain will undergo complex changes. Along the way, Li Yiming began to sweep all the way, during which Chun did not help. When they reached the 6th floor, Li Yiming and Tsubaki met a young adventurer in very ordinary clothes on their way to the 7th floor. Drink. The boy holding a short knife was fighting with a killer ant about half a meter away. The boots under his feet provided his small body with nimble speed. When the leather armor on his body was corroded by the mucus sprayed out by the killer ants, he would still feel pain and could not help but groan. However, the boy's eyes were still full of determination. The short knife in his hand caught the sharp claws of the killer ant abruptly, and then he walked forward, and the short knife slashed at the hard shell of the killer ant. Ding dong! There was a crisp metal impact sound. The shell of the killer ant was intact, but the short knife flew out directly. The weapon in the boy's hand obviously couldn't break through the defense of the killer ants. Shit! The vibration of the weapon made the young man freeze. In his sight, the sharp teeth of the killer ant were mercilessly attacking his chest. If this bite hits him, there will be no possibility of him surviving. Just when the young man fell into despair, there was a sudden sound of breaking wind in the distance. The killer ants in mid-air had no time to dodge, and their neighing stopped abruptly. The foul-smelling liquid sprayed out and fell on the floor of the maze. The body of the killer ant was smashed to pieces. The young man sat on the ground in a sluggish way, panting heavily, his heart full of joy and fear for the rest of his life. In his sight, he saw the back of a silver-armored swordsman with a chaotic blade. So dazzling in a dim environment. Young man, it is very dangerous to come to this kind of place alone. If you are not strong enough, you should find some reliable teammates to explore together. I suggest you go back to rest today and come back tomorrow. Next time, remember to do what you can. And do. Li Yiming picked up the flying dagger and put it on the ground, then turned and left. The young man stared blankly at his leaving back, thinking of the heroic stories circulating in the village when he was a child. Perhaps the legendary hero is just the situation in front of him. I really hope that one day I can become so powerful. P.S. Today's update is over, and more updates will be released at night. Thank you readers for your support. I owe a bit too much, I feel a little embarrassed myself. I will work hard to make up for it. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 49 Arriving in the middle area, danger is hidden in the beauty, review vote plus update. Meeting adventurers in need of rescue is just one episode. As Li Yiming knew in advance, adventurers are indeed a very high-risk occupation, especially adventurers who join the exploration family. The dangers they need to face every day are unimaginable. Even with the help of your teammates, you never know whether there will be monsters appearing from the corner and biting your head off. Therefore, exploring the dungeon is not only a kind of destruction to the body, but also a kind of destruction to the spirit. Often encountering adventurers who are alone in danger, Li Yiming doesn't mind helping out. This is not a saint, it's just doing it casually. His actions today are destined to be spread among Orario. Then, as a member of He Faith's family, the whole family will naturally benefit from it, and the reputation will become better and better. In a world where news is blocked, word of mouth is very important. This is also one of the few things that Li Yiming can do for the family. In just half a day, with Li Yiming and Chun sweeping all the way, they quickly reached the dungeon record that surpassed Li Yiming's. After crossing the 10th floor, the remaining 2 floors are no longer an obstacle. Base. After beheading a young dragon with a knife, Li Yiming took out the magic stone inside the young dragon's body. The monster's body was quickly swallowed by the dungeon, leaving a scale in place. This is a special drop item belonging to monsters, and it is also an excellent material for making equipment. It's good luck. Along the way, I have already obtained 10 baby dragon scales. At this speed, the harvest of this dungeon exploration is really unimaginable. Chun quickly stepped forward to pick up the young dragon's scales, and skillfully put them into his pocket. This kind of scene has appeared countless times, and Li Yiming never thought that his mature team leader would show such a money fanatic appearance. The contrast between before and after is really cute enough. However, only when there are special dropped items, Tsubaki will rush to put them away. Yiming, I doubt your luck very much. The probability of special drop items appearing is too high. I have been surprised by Li Yiming's strength for a long time, and Chun has experienced what is called underground city sightseeing in this half day. In just half a day, the gains of the two were terrifying. He obviously didn't stay there intentionally, but even if it was just a group of monsters that were eliminated during the journey, the fallen magic stone fragments were of different sizes, but if the size of the magic stone fragments in the half-orc's body was used as a standard, there are probably a total of 500 pieces as much. In addition, the slime of killer ants, the bones of lizards, the scales of young dragons, etc. Even for a team of senior adventurers, it is not easy to achieve this kind of achievement, but now it is so easy to do it with Li Yiming alone. The main reason is that the brave skill is too powerful, and all attributes will be doubled during the battle. Counting the blessings of other skills, Li Yiming has completely surpassed LV.1 adventurers, and some weak LV.2 adventurers may not be his opponents. Even though the monsters in the dungeon have special powers and vary in strength, at least the upper-level monsters are absolutely impossible to pose a fatal threat to Li Yiming, and they are completely unrepeatable adventurers. Leader, let's go deeper. Your interest is really high? Then keep this momentum and move on. Tsubaki's face showed curiosity. I also want to see where your limit is. The two continued to walk forward quickly, and soon passed the stairs. The terrain of the white grassland labyrinth from the 10th to the 11th floor also changed back to the appearance of a dungeon cave with the arrival of the middle floor. However, there are still significant differences between the middle and upper levels. The upper floor of the dungeon is a flat labyrinth passage. A large number of passages are intertwined in such a dense way that you don't know exactly where it will lead. In the middle area, the environment can be said to be more three-dimensional. Not only does it cover a larger area, but you often have to climb up and down hills, and sometimes you can even see cliffs several meters high. This sudden change in painting style makes it difficult for many adventurers to adapt. Even Li Yiming was deeply attracted at first glance. Right above the cave, there was a blue magic stone light, and the stalactite cones hung above their heads, shining like a chandelier. If it weren't for the danger that exists all the time, you would even think it would be a very beautiful tourist attraction. Starting from here is the middle layer of the dungeon. Unlike the upper layer, most of the monsters in the middle layer have the strength to match the third-level adventurers. Of course, this is not static. Compared with adventurers, the strength of monsters it is even more uncertain, and there are special individuals among them, so be vigilant at all times. Of course, if you really encounter a monster that you can't fight against, it's not lifeless. Some places in the middle area can directly lead to the 18th floor, which is the safe floor. Keeping track of the location of that place is also one of the compulsory courses for adventurers. After setting foot in the middle area, Tsubaki's expression became slightly serious. There is no way to stay relaxed. Although Li Yiming's strength has exceeded her expectations, if she encounters danger, she needs timely support. Therefore, you must maintain a high degree of concentration. P.S. The evaluation vote will be updated. Thank you readers for your support. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 50. A big dog stronger than a calf. Also, remember to put this thing on. Chun took out a piece of clothing that looked like gauze or cloth from the backpack behind him, and threw it on Li Yiming's shoulder, who immediately showed a puzzled expression. The situation about the dungeon in my mind has blurred a lot. Apart from remembering some related characters, Li Yiming had forgotten most of the basic information about the monster, so he didn't recognize what it was. The monsters in the middle layer have begun to have special abilities. The 13th layer is also called the first line of death. There is a black-haired wolf like a dog. It is a hellhound registered in the Monster Manual of the Adventurers Guild. The flames were released from within, turning the unprotected adventurers into charcoal. This thing is called fire-fine weaving cloth. In a sense, it is a standard configuration in the middle area. It has extremely strong resistance to flames and high temperatures, and can withstand most of the flame damage. Fire-fine weaving? With Chun's reminder, Li Yiming remembered the function of this thing. It is woven from fairy protective cloth, and it is a garment made by fairy spirits weaving their own magic power. It is also a special item with the blessing of fairy spirits. In addition to having high defense against attacks such as flames and heat, it also has cold protection properties. It can be said to be a must for home travel. Don't look at it, it's not expensive, and it's only 6 figures. I've kept this one for you temporarily, so remember to return it to me later. Li Yiming nodded. Dang even put the fire-fine cloth under the armor. The surface of the protective cloth is dotted with bright particles of light, and the colors are bright, making it look extremely gorgeous. It's worthy of being the equipment produced by the cooperation of immortal spirits. It feels that even senior blacksmiths can't match it. It's not unreasonable for this race to be called God Clone. The involuntary exclamation expressed Li Yiming's true inner thoughts. It's just that, although the performance of this kind of work is powerful, it has a single function, and it can only surpass the armor of a senior blacksmith in the field of specialization, but it is still very powerful. Don't worry, you will have a chance to meet that magical group in the future. Chun patted Li Yiming's shoulder carelessly, and walked forward first. The latter tightened the fire-weaving cloth on his body, couldn't help smiling, and followed without hesitation. There are gray rocks rolling everywhere around, and the surrounding walls, floors, and ceilings are all made of rocks, and there is a little moist air floating around. Therefore, the middle layer is also a natural cave located on the mountainside. Some people who don't know anything about it may come here and believe this description. It has to be said that Li Yiming felt a little nervous when he came here. He also wanted to see what was so special about the middle class known as the first line of death, and how powerful the Cerberus, who also had the alias of Pyromaniac, was. All in all, Cerberus is probably the opponent in the middle that needs special attention. Of course, if there were monsters like the Minotaur, it would be as if they hadn't said that. Li Yiming and Chun walked in a single passage like a cave. This process lasted about 10 minutes without encountering any monsters on the way. But when this thought appeared in their hearts, the two of them stopped almost at the same time. The strengthening of the ability value is extremely comprehensive, and even the 5 senses have been greatly enhanced. Li Yiming can easily capture that something is running from a distance. The sound of footsteps of Papa Papa was very obvious in this silent environment. I came right after I finished speaking, and I'll see you perform next. Remember to ask for help if you can't hold on. Chun looked sideways at Li Yiming, but only got confidence from him. She suddenly chuckled, knowing that the situation of calling for help would probably not happen. However, Tsubaki will still not choose to stand idly by, if Li Yiming is really in danger. The faint phosphorescence reflected several figures, and the shadows reflected on the stone wall of the cave, gradually elongated with the sound of footsteps, and then all the figures fully appeared from the depths of the passage. Many pairs of scarlet eyes appeared, walking out of the darkness without haste. This is Cerberus, which is also an adventurer killer. Its uneven skin is wrapped in black hair, and its exposed sharp teeth highlight its horror. The hellhound has a ferocious face that is different from that of a wolf, and just after it appeared, it bared its teeth and let out a low growl. Li Yiming had a panoramic view of everything, and couldn't help but let out a sound of wonder in his heart. To be honest, the hellhound in front of him was bigger than all the dogs he had seen in his previous life, and those 4 strong dog legs alone were already thicker than most animals. When you say that the one in front of him is a cow, Li Yiming is willing to believe it. The appearance is bluffing, but I don't know what the real strength is, so let's try it out first. Even though he was confident enough in his own strength, Li Yiming did not take it lightly. The long knife at his waist was slowly drawn out, and the sound produced by the friction was like a command gun. All the hell dogs let out a loud roar almost at the same time, and rushed over with astonishing momentum. The two-way rush between each other instantly smoothed out the short distance of 100 meters. A Cerberus took the lead, leaped across the sky, and rushed towards Li Yiming. The latter did not dodge, and the long knife in his hand slashed at the bloody mouth of the Cerberus. He wanted to try to see how powerful the Cerberus had reached. Boom! Fighting close to each other, Li Yiming almost couldn't control his figure due to the huge strength. His face suddenly sank, and he became a little sloppy. P.S. The evaluation vote will be updated. Thank you readers for your support. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 51, The Breath of the Sun, the Shape of Land's Scorching Sun. 10,000 flowers plus more. Sloppy. Feeling the huge force transmitted from the long knife, Li Yiming's face sank slightly, and he stepped back 2 steps in succession, only then managed to stabilize his figure. And the Cerberus, which has completely lost its power, is also hovering in midair. The strength is really great. It is not wise to face the enemy head-on, but if it is for training the ability value, it is indeed a good goal, but now is not the time to exercise the ability value. Noticing that the other hellhounds were rushing from other directions, Li Yiming was about to withdraw. However, when he wanted to draw the long knife back, he found that he had been bitten by the first hellhound, and he didn't intend to let go at all. It seemed that he wanted to use this method to buy time for the rest of the hellhounds. Is there even an improvement in wisdom? The division of labor is really clear. Unable to take back the long knife in a short time, Li Yiming let go of his hand rationally after analyzing the situation, and hurriedly retreated a distance to the rear. The next moment, the Cerberus dogs of vicious dog Rabayology landed one after another, and the ground suddenly splashed dust due to the heavy impact. It was obviously a grotto, and the ground was also sunken, partly visible to the naked eye. From this we can see how powerful the Cerberus is. If he didn't dodge successfully, he might have been torn to pieces by these dogs. How is it? Yiming, do you need my help? Chun asked from a distance at this time, but no matter how she heard it, she felt a little gloating. Maybe seeing newcomer adventurers deflated is the source of her interest. Li Yiming rolled his eyes angrily, ignoring the faint smile on the corner of Chun's mouth. I don't need it for the time being, Captain, it's just a few puppies, I can still deal with them, so I won't bother you. Hey, is that so? But all your weapons have been lost, do you need me to lend you one? No need, just watch it. Rejecting Tsubaki's kindness again, Li Yiming's eyes fell on the Cerberus again, and the original thought of probing was completely dissipated at this moment. Strength and speed have already been clearly understood, so there is no need to continue playing around. A dog that breathes fire? Then let me see whether your flame is stronger or mine is stronger. Stretching out his hand towards the void, the sun will knife appeared in Li Yiming's hand. There was a clear sound of drawing a knife, and Tsubaki's eyes lit up again after witnessing everything. She found that the little guy in front of her has more and more secrets. Not only is she powerful, LV.1 can avoid the attack of the hellhound, and now it seems to have space storage magic. Not only that, but the quality of the knife is also excellent, and it is getting better and better. How much surprise can you bring me? Even Tsubaki didn't realize it. Unconsciously, Li Yiming's actions seemed to be able to affect her emotional changes, and she became more and more curious about this newcomer. And the other side. Seemingly understanding Li Yiming's provocation, the hellhounds became irritable again. I saw them rubbing the ground lightly with their hind legs, and after another astonishing roar, they attacked side by side in no particular order, almost completely blocking the front direction. Li Yiming has been waiting for this time for a long time. Under the transparent world, the body structure of the Cerberus can be seen clearly in an instant, and even the location of the magic stone cannot be concealed. The flow of blood and the vibration of muscles are unabashedly printed in Li Yiming's eyes. He was able to clearly grasp the weaknesses of the Cerberus dogs, and at the same time had a clear prediction of their actions. I see, the breath of the sun, the shape of the three, the red mirror of the sun. Quick! Fast to the ultimate swordsmanship. The sun-will knife in Li Yiming's hand flew across at high speed, and the flame formed halfway wrapped around the knife, and then showed a strange track, spewing towards all directions. The slash with flames unceremoniously rewarded the Cerberus body with a blow. Aha! The three dogs barked miserably in an instant, and then their bodies were cut in two from the center. Red and black blood spewed out, and the monster whose upper body and lower body were divided into two fell to the ground with a boom. Most of the magic stone in its body was exposed, but it did not suffer any damage. Whoa! The remaining three hellhounds hurriedly braked to stop their forward movement, trying to maintain a distance. Seeing that they raised their upper body and lowered their lower body almost at the same time, Li Yiming, who is very sensitive to solar energy, naturally sensed that they were accumulating flames. Sparks gathered in the hellhound's bloody mouth, about to overflow from the gap in the mouth where the fangs were exposed. However, this spellcasting swing is too long. Ended. Squatting down slightly to accumulate energy, Li Yiming's figure instantly disappeared in place, leaving only two deep footprints on the ground. Breath of the sun, shape of land, scorching sun. A vortex-like sea of flames appeared out of thin air, swallowing all the hellhounds in an instant, and they couldn't even eject the flames that had been accumulated in their mouths for a long time. The Cerberus that once burned countless adventurers to death has now tasted the taste of being swallowed by flames. The terrifying flames swirled forward and hit the wall of the cave, leaving a dark trace on the wall, and the surrounding air became even hotter. At this moment, Li Yiming is like the king of fire. P.S. 15,000 flowers will be updated. Thank you readers for your support. Continue to ask for collections, flowers, evaluation tickets, and monthly tickets. It would be even better if there are rewards. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 52 Monster Feast. Tsubaki's strength shows desire, thanks to the monthly pass of Shadow Under the Star. Suddenly, the battle was over. The atmosphere on the labyrinth floor began to become hotter around Li Yiming. The stalactites that were originally hanging above the head occasionally dripped some corrosive liquid, but as the water vapor in the air evaporated, the frequency of dripping began to slow down. The dark environment is lit up at once. As the flame vortex dissipated, the figures of the remaining hellhounds were completely wiped out, and after the remaining breath was completely extinguished, only a few blue-black magic stones were left on the ground. Li Yiming swung the sun-will knife in his hand, and the flames wrapped around it slowly disappeared. As the blade was sheathed, he couldn't help but let out a long sigh of relief. The atmosphere just now was a little tense, but it didn't take too much effort. Although the Cerberus dog is called the obstacle to conquer the 13th floor, it is not as powerful as imagined. Especially in the situation where energy needs to be stored before spraying flames, the threat is even less. The breath of the sun is indeed the original breathing method created by Jiku Yuanyi. It is completely unreasonable to say that there is no problem with magic, and even the speed has been significantly improved. Picking up all the magic stones from the ground, Li Yiming put them into his pocket. At this time, Tsubaki, who had been silently watching the battle, also stepped forward, grabbed his shoulders, and pulled him into his arms forcefully. "You are so capable, boy, you are more powerful than I imagined. You have space storage magic, and you have sword skills that are comparable to magic. I am really surprised. You really have not accepted it all over again." Newcomer to favor of God. Suffering from Chun's sudden attack, Li Yiming was obviously at a loss. Smelling the fragrance that was close at hand, he gave a dry cough and could only reply in a low voice, "Of course this is the first time I have received favors, even if I want to hide it, Lord Shangshen will be able to see the clue." "That's right, that really made us, the Faith family of Hetos, find a treasure." With an excited smile on Chun's face, he rubbed Li Yiming's hair vigorously. The latter wanted to break free, but the strength gap between them was too great. He had no choice, he could only show a loveless expression, and let Chun play with him wantonly. Fortunately, this situation did not last too long. After playing with it for a few minutes, Chun finally let go of her hand, and Li Yiming broke away from her embrace as if he was running away. His clothes and hair were messed up. This feeling of being unable to fight and being unable to do anything is really uncomfortable. "Ha ha ha, I'm sorry, on a whim, I won't do it next time, let's move on, this time the goal is to reach the 18th floor of safety, let's start the forging of this exploration there. Set off." With a faint smile on his face, Tsubaki took the lead and walked forward. "It's all about getting the true biography of Goddess He Faith. Okay. Really, whether it's Lord Shangshen or the leader, it feels like an unexpected escape. Is it really a wise decision to join this kind of family?" Although he said so, Li Yiming followed quickly without stopping. Not too far away, a large number of monsters appeared one after another, and even the passage leading to the 14th floor gathered a large number of monsters, blocking the progress of the adventurers. In addition to the Cerberus, there are also unicorn rabbits. Long dangling ears, yellow and white fur, fluffy tail, a sharp horn on the forehead, standing on hind feet, the body size is just about the same as that of the Palom tribe. Although they look very docile on the outside, they are actually very aggressive and often appear in groups. The unicorn smashed the rocks on the ground, and took out brand new natural equipment, that is, small stone axes that can be equipped with one hand. Among the monsters, they belong to a race with low combat ability. What a huge number, is it a monster feast? Tsubaki frowned slightly, this amount of monsters is not only very troublesome, but also a waste of time, plus a large number of monsters, no one knows whether there are mutants hidden in it. Li Yiming on the side didn't speak, but he didn't dare to take it too seriously. With this amount, in addition to hellhounds, there are also unicorn rabbits who are good at team battles, plus armored rats with amazing defenses. I am afraid that a team of senior adventurers at LV get out of the way under the quantity. Captain, do you need to bypass them? Bypassing is not really bypassing, but diverting this huge group of monsters away, and then directly entering the layer passage. No, that's not efficient, and there's no guarantee that you'll pass. Instead of doing that kind of useless work, it's better to be simple and rude. A bright smile appeared on Tsubaki's face, while rubbing his fists. Commander, you. Realizing something, Li Yiming slowly raised his head, his eyes flickering with anticipation. You have shown your strength, so as the leader of the family, I will naturally let you, a newcomer, see the strength of a first-level adventurer. Watch it carefully. After the words fell, Chun held his weapon Red Shiu and walked slowly towards the group of monsters. One person, one group. Countless figures suddenly started a head-on conflict. P.S. New day, ask for collection, ask for flowers, ask for evaluation tickets and monthly ticket support. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 53 The Tauren is unrivaled. Thanks for the monthly ticket of I am a great swordsman. The 18th floor of the underground city. After some rest, the Loki family members who were stationed here and rested for a night are gathering. The team that seemed a little lazy just now became ready in an instant. The leader, the blonde adventurer of the Param tribe, is directing all the members. The short blonde hair is very conspicuous under the light. Although the appearance is only a young boy, or a straight face, but if you underestimate him, the consequences will be very serious. Ah! I can finally rest for a few days. By the way, do we really have to stay so long for leveling this time? Although there are special supporters from the family to provide supplies, and craftsmen from the Hefaith family to provide repairs, but we stay here every day. Inside the dungeon, it must be too boring. Looking at the passage leading to the 17th floor, Tiona sighed expectantly with her hips akimbo. Even though this is not a group expedition of the family members, it was also very hard during the period. We faced the monster feast several times. Fortunately, there are brave Finn and 9 magical princess Riveria in the team, plus many ALV.5 adventurers saved the day with the tacit cooperation. It was a rare rest. With everyone's agreement, they returned to the 18th floor. They planned to take a good rest for a day or two before entering the deep level area for exercise again. After going back this time, he will definitely get a considerable improvement. Tiona, don't complain loudly. As an adventurer, isn't it part of my duty to explore dungeons? Shin looked at her very homesick and mischievous younger sister. She couldn't help but tapped her on the head lightly, and said earnestly. Although Diona was a little dissatisfied with being knocked on the head, she could only pat her head, and muttered, "That's right, but I can't go back now, don't you allow me to talk about it yet. By the way, Ace, do you miss Oleli's life, such as food?" Tiona, who was bored at her sister's place, could only change her target, ran behind Isai to wrap her around her, and asked softly in the other's ear. This question really stunned Ace, who was expressionless, and seemed to think of some kind of food in her mind. But soon, this longing was again overwhelmed by another emotion. "No, I still want to continue fighting, I want to become stronger." The girl's voice didn't contain any emotion, but it could make people hear the firmness hidden in it, which made Tiona, who was a little out of interest, feel very bad immediately. She seems to have forgotten that the girl in front of her is the baby lump of her own god. Similarly, the other party is still a full-fledged fighter. If the rare rest is because of a word from myself, the other party's stubbornness will be aroused again. I am afraid that she will be beaten to death by Riveria. "No, Ace, I have been fighting intensively for several days, and we must rest for a period of time. We will not return to the ground immediately, so you don't have to worry about things that you can't fight, but at least in these few days, you must have a good rest, do you understand?" A serious voice sounded suddenly, and Riveria appeared behind them at some point. The stern words made Tiona, who was a little jumpy just now, shrank her neck. Ace slowly raised her head, as if she had understood the message in Riveria's eyes, and finally she could only nod slightly. "Understood, Riveria. It's good to know. In order to prevent you from messing around, I will keep an eye on you during this time. Rivalia is so strict. It is necessary to be strict with you, hurry up and rest." After the words fell, Riveria turned and left. However, the lingering prestige she left behind still remained, which made Isai, who had become active because of Diona's words, suddenly sighed. "I can't continue to fight, I have completely lost motivation." Moo! There was a deafening roar. Li Yiming and Chun have arrived at the 15th floor of the dungeon. In addition to the unicorn rabbit, hellhound and armored rat, a new kind of monster has appeared here. The whole body is full of muscular Tauren minotaur. This is an extremely powerful monster, not only powerful, but also amazing in defense. Thick fur wraps the Minotaur's body, and weak adventurers can't even break through its defenses. Even if you leave scars on it, you can't restrict the Minotaur's movement, and the pain will stimulate it. Its ferocity. In the entire middle area, the Minotaur can be regarded as the top elite monster. One-on-one, it is also difficult for LV.2 adventurers of the same level to win. Of course, this is not absolute. What Li Yiming was facing now was a lone Minotaur. When she found this huge and strong monster, Chun chose to paddle as always, and she wanted to see if Li Yiming could handle it by herself. After seeing Chun's strength, Li Yiming, who felt a sense of urgency again, naturally agreed without hesitation. He wants to become stronger in a short time, and the Tauren in front of him is a good object of training. For him now, this big guy is completely difficult to deal with. If he can defeat the Minotaur in front of him, he will definitely be able to accumulate enough basic ability points and great achievements required for upgrading. The premise is that Li Yiming can defeat the Tauren in front of him with his own hands. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 54 Powerful Tauren, Rihu's True Face. The Minotaur, the legendary monster. In his previous life, Li Yiming had also heard of the existence of this thing, but now it appeared before his eyes. Although the Minotaur is only at LV.2 level, with Li Yiming's current LV.1 ability value, even with the increase in bravery skill, it is still difficult to cut through it with the Sun Will Knife. The protagonist's lifelong enemy is not just talk. However, if you rely on skills, you are not without the power to fight. Moo. Without much time to think, the Minotaur raised his head to the sky and screamed loudly, and then he rushed towards Li Yiming with his strong thighs and scarlet eyes gleaming with menacing light. I don't know if it was an illusion, but Li Yiming didn't feel how fast it was. Perhaps, the Minotaur is not a speed monster at all. If this is the case, it may be easier to deal with than imagined. However, it is rare to meet a lone Minotaur. It depends on it to accumulate great achievements, so don't hide, let's have a real battle. Let's fight between men. Li Yiming's eyes revealed a raging fighting spirit. Stomping heavily, Li Yiming, who suddenly accelerated, came first after the attack, and quickly appeared in front of the Minotaur, dodging the fist bigger than his head sideways, and slashed down. Puff! The blade pierced into the flesh, but the omnipotent attack did not achieve the expected effect this time. Although it entered the Minotaur's arm, it was clamped by its dense muscles, preventing it from moving forward. This kind of physical strength is really terrifying. Not only that, the power displayed by the Minotaur is even more terrifying than the Cerberus. FK, don't you want to be so exaggerated, your muscle density is too outrageous. Li Yiming subconsciously complained, but the next moment his face turned pale. The Minotaur punched again. Li Yiming quickly jumped up, and while avoiding the fist, put his feet on the Minotaur's arm, pulled out the Sun Will Knife with all his strength, and slashed at the Tauren's head again. The latter raised his big fan-like hand to block the attack again, and the man and the beast were separated instantly. Looking at the Minotaur, who did not leave any obvious scars, Li Yiming's expression became slightly serious. This is really a formidable enemy. While thinking about this in his heart, Li Yiming suddenly felt a warmth on his cheek. Subconsciously wiped it with his left hand. What he touched was scarlet blood, which seemed to flow from his face. Was it when he avoided it just now? Even though he missed the hit, could the fist wind alone hurt him? It's really terrifying strength. If it hits directly, I'm afraid half of my life will be gone now. With a vigorous flick of the left hand, most of the blood on the hand was thrown to the ground, but there were still obvious marks on the palm, but these are not important anymore. In other words, he no longer has the energy to pay attention to other things. For him now, only fighting is in his eyes, so let's go Tata. The breath of the sun, the shape of one, and the round dance. The figure disappeared, and Li Yiming and the Minotaur fought hand to hand again. This time, the blade burning with the scorching sun's fire instantly slashed the Minotaur's arm, leaving 2 scars with deep bone visible, and the flames were still burning its body. The severe pain caused the Minotaur to roar, and the scarlet in his eyes became deeper and deeper. Only boxing? Then come on. Breath of the sun 3 types red mirror of the sun. The high-speed slashes spread all over the body, intertwined with the same dense fist wind of the Minotaur, and there was a crisp impact sound, and each impact also shot out a lot of fire. The strength originating from the Minotaur, with Li Yiming's swing of the knife, not only part of it was transferred, but also part of the strength was returned to the Tauren himself. Under the ebb and flow, Li Yiming's hands were only numb, but the Minotaur's fist had been damaged a lot. However, this monster with muscles in its brain still didn't feel any fear, and the strength in its hands not only didn't weaken at all, but increased a bit. It seems that it is not oneself who is hurt, but someone else. Seeing this scene, Li Yiming also showed determination in his eyes. Since you want to fight head to head, let's hit the bottom. The breath of the sun, the shape of the 4, the magic sun rainbow. Breath of the sun Wuzha type train. The breath of the sun, the shape of the land, the scorching sun. The breath of the sun 7 shape Yang Hua Tuo. Breath of the sun 8 shapes flywheel Kajiro. Breath of the sun 9 shapes. With a lot of sword moves, Li Yiming played more and more happily, and the power of the breath of the sun was constantly displayed. He was surrounded by flames, as if he was dancing in the fire. But just when he was about to continue, the movement stopped suddenly. It wasn't that he was exhausted, but that the Minotaur was covered in bruises and fell to the ground overwhelmed. Even so, this Tauren is still struggling to get up. If it is a little smarter, maybe it can really become a qualified fighter. Pity. However, I enjoyed this battle very much. I will remember you, Tauren. Let's go on the road with peace of mind. With his slightly sore body dragging, Li Yiming stepped forward slowly, raised the sun will knife with both hands, and then dropped it suddenly. Breath of the sun 2 shape by Luo Tian. The flaming blade flashed away, and the Minotaur's neck was cut off in an instant. The Tauren also ended his sinful life. P.S. It's a new day. Continue to ask for collections, flowers, monthly tickets, and evaluation tickets for support. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 55 18th floor, safe floor, Rivera Town. Defeating the Minotaur is, in general, a cause for celebration. Li Yiming may also be able to appreciate the unique charm of the adventurer in the set. Continuously using the breath of the sun will not cause too much burden on his current body, but there is still a certain degree of consumption, especially fighting against powerful monsters, which is even more difficult. After all, the Minotaur did not have only one head. In the following section, Li Yiming and Chun continued to move forward. Overcoming almost all obstacles, no matter what kind of monsters, they can't stop their progress. Of course, this is also the reason why the monster feast did not reappear. Although the monster attacks never stopped, and the strength of the monsters was also rising, but with Tsubaki's support, the two quickly advanced to the first stage. The location on the 17th floor. If it is not for the lack of physical and mental strength, Li Yiming may be able to participate in more battles. It looks like I'm going to buy some potions when I go back this time. Whether it's monsters related to physical recovery, mental recovery, or injury recovery, they will be very helpful for exploring the dungeon. However, these can only be easily realized after having sufficient funds. At least for now, he might not be able to afford more expensive potions. For example, there is a thing called panacea, which can restore all internal and external injuries. It claims that as long as there is one breath left, it can save you and remove all negative effects. The price alone has reached 500,000 mana. This may be an amount that some adventurers cannot save in their entire lives. Therefore, adventurers are not rich people, and often need to work hard for money. Oh, it's finally here. As the passage in front of him became wider and wider, Chun turned his head and said to Li Yiming. A square-like hall soon appeared in front of the two of them. Compared with the other messy caves in the dungeon, it was obviously much smoother. Although only a little bit. There are still many huge stones on the square, just placing them there makes people feel small. Hey, did you see the wall on the left? Walking in the hall, Tsubaki started teaching again. That wall is the Wall of Size, also called the Wall of Size, where Goliath, the Lord of the Floor, was born. It is equivalent to a LV.4 monster, but it is difficult for adventurers of the same level to defeat it. The floor master will appear every other floor, each one is powerful, and the refresh time is longer than other monsters. It seems that Gloria has been solved by other adventurers, and has not been refreshed yet. Since there is nothing to see, let's go to the 18th floor. It's time to start another lesson. Hearing this, Li Yiming nodded, and took his gaze away from the sighing wall. This wall, which seems to have been polished by someone, is indeed very spectacular. It is hard to imagine who made such a wonderful and varied dungeon. It is a pity that this time it seems that there is no way to see Gloria's true face. Without staying here any longer, walking through the long hall, the two soon entered the passage leading to the lower floor. After passing through the dark stairs, the long-lost light appeared in front of Li Yiming's eyes. After finally getting used to it, he was attracted by the dense forest again. This is the 18th floor of the middle floor of the dungeon, which is also the so-called safe floor. Adventurers like to call it Maze Paradise. The afterglow of the evening rose from a distance, and it seemed that the sun rose and the moon set on the ground had been restored here. Although it was only a simulation, it did make people feel safe. Generally, no monsters will appear on the safe floor, so it has become the second gathering place for many family members. After Li Yiming and Chun entered this floor, they walked into a town marked Rivera. Different from the bustling Olalai, the town of Rivera looks relatively simple. The first thing you see are some simple wooden houses, there are many pedestrians selling fruits around, and there are also some slightly sturdy hotels. The chatter and laughter of the adventurers came from the tavern not far away, and from time to time, the sound of forging iron can be heard. This very familiar sound will attract Li Yiming's attention not far away. In the workshop, there are still some adventurers who are standing at the entrance of the workshop and are constantly bargaining. The dense towns are printed in the eyes, and the towns are tidied up, which is actually more like a village where adventurers gather. Many people have even lived here for several years. Olalai's business is too complicated, some businessmen think they have found another way, and hire adventurers to escort them to Rivera town to do business. Although it is very dangerous and occasionally destroyed, it is not as terrible as imagined. The people who can settle here are veterans, and they know what to do when to save their lives. I'm surprised. When I first came to Rivera, I also showed the same expression as you. Li Yiming's silence was shocked by Chun's mistake for coming here for the first time, and then he said to himself, our Faith family also has property here, let's go there first and settle down, and then I will slowly explain to you the origin of this town. Come with me. P.S. It's a new day, continue to ask for collections, flowers, and tickets for support. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 56 You must never steal things, and don't be discovered, thanks to the monthly ticket of the Gluttony Demon King. In Orari's dungeon, Monsters on most floors will be refreshed regularly after being eliminated to fill the gaps in each floor and prevent adventurers from continuing to go deeper. To enter the dungeon, you must enter through the entrance of Orario, and if you want to get out, you must go up through the passages of each floor. Whether you are entering or leaving, you need to go through the corresponding floors. There is no so-called archive point outside of the special skipping class channel. After all, this is the real world. Even if the grace of the gods gave the adventurer a game-like panel, it was nothing more than that. Therefore, the term expedition appeared. But the dungeon starts from the middle level, and the monsters refreshed intensively are very troublesome for adventurers. During this period, the loss of both equipment and supplies is extremely huge, and the occasional monster feast is an important reason that prevents adventurers from going on expeditions. Perhaps because of the idea of balance, there is not a glimmer of life in the dungeon. During the exploration process, the adventurers were surprised to find the existence of the safe floor. Monsters will not be refreshed here, and monsters from other floors are unlikely to come here. Therefore, the town of Rivera, this temporary safe floor composed of adventurers, it was born. In fact, the safe floor is not just the 18th floor. Every other fixed floor, there will be a safe floor that will not refresh monsters. The known ones are the 18th, 39th, and 50th floors. Of course, between the 28th and 30th floors, there seems to be a safe floor, and I don't know if it's true from time to time, but according to the law, usually the rooms behind the main floor are very likely to be safe floors, so there should be security floors on the 20 or so floors. These are things for the future. Li Yiming does not have the ability to go to such a deep place now. The general situation is like this. In the temporary residence of the He Faith Tas family, Tsubaki explained with a flat face. This workshop is the property of the He Faith family in the town of Rivera, and it specializes in providing weapon repair and weapon sales for passing adventurers. As a family of artisans, this can be regarded as a long-term job. Basically, the Faith family and the Gubernius family divided up most of Oleli's forging business, and the rest were shared equally by the other forging families. It is also for this reason that the He Faith family is also very famous in the entire Labyrinth city. There is also day and night in the safe floor, but it is not day and night in the true sense. There is a special crystal here. By absorbing the magic power of the dungeon, it releases light for lighting and enhances the light. The attenuation creates the difference between day and night, and you get used to it later on. Chun seemed to have thought of something suddenly, and hurriedly reminded him with a serious expression. In addition, the safe floor also has quite a lot of mineral resources, including the crystal mine on the ground and the marcasite left on the wall. They are all very good basic materials, but you must not collect them. That will affect the situation in the town of Rivera, but it will cause public outrage. Head, am I as miserable as you say? Li Yiming showed a helpless expression. He is not so hungry. Although, he didn't know that there was such a benefit on the safe floor at the beginning, and it was really exciting to be mentioned by Tsubaki suddenly, but he would not do such a thing rashly of. At least wait until no one is there. Anyway, I've already told you that you must not do that kind of thing. Even if you do, you must not be discovered by other family members, and don't take it all away, understand? Seemingly aware of Li Yiming's temperament, Tsubaki even went out of her way to give such a warning. This time, Li Yiming did not respond. He is not sure whether he will take away the exposed basic materials, and even if he will definitely choose a time when no one is around. Well, forget it, as long as you know what's in your mind. Tsubaki shook his head helplessly, feeling that the boy in front of him would be another problem child, and hoped that he would not bring too much trouble to Goddess Faith. Although, there is not only one problem child in the family. Okay, let's talk about other things later. Now, do you need to rest for a while? The fighting along the way is really tiring. Why don't you rest for a night, and we will formally start forging tomorrow. Well, listen to you, Captain. For Chun's proposal, Li Yiming naturally has no reason to refuse. As the other party said, fighting is really exhausting, and there is no place for you to rest in the dungeon. If you continue to forge with high intensity, it is not uncommon for you to faint. Forging is not in a hurry at this moment, let's have a good night's rest first. After the words fell, Chun first arranged a spare room for Li Yiming, then turned and left. Li Yiming, who was physically and mentally exhausted, had no time to care about other things. He closed the door and lay down on the bed with his eyes tightly closed, falling into a deep sleep. Soon, there was a soft snoring sound in the room, which complemented the lively scene outside the room. P.S. It's a new day, continue to ask for collections, flowers, and tickets for support. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 57 Pleasant scenery at night on the safe floor, thanks to the monthly pass of Vuchan Utopia Inaba. The lights on the security floor were completely dimmed. In technical terms, it has completely turned into night. The He Faith family was placed in the temporary residence in Rivera Town. Li Yiming faintly woke up from his sleep. The strange ceiling instantly made his confused eyes clear. Subconsciously sat up, looked around vigilantly, and found no danger. At the same time, the memories in my mind began to return quickly. Phew, it's a bit of a fuss. I followed Tsubaki to the dungeon and reached the safe floor. This is the temporary residence of the family, and there is no danger. Taking a long breath, the tense muscles on Li Yiming's body slowly relaxed. Sure enough, after experiencing too much fierce battle, people will become a little mentally disturbed, which is also a problem that needs to be solved for adventurers. Although Oleli is amazing, nothing bad happens. Every year, there will be adventurers who can't accept too fierce battles, or after experiencing some kind of life change, become mentally disturbed, and the whole person looks crazy, so don't think that adventurers are very beautiful, and all kinds of hidden behind the dangers are also unknown. Li Yiming slowly experienced this feeling, but he was not worried that he would be affected. Leaving aside his confidence, just because of the effect of the brave skill, he is doomed to be a natural fighter, and the only way to die in this life is to die in a fierce battle. There is probably no other way of dying than this. It seems to be late at night outside now, is it night on the security floor? Sitting upright on the bed, Li Yiming subconsciously looked out through the window. The sky was pitch black, but the dots of starlight hanging above the cave embellished the environment with incomparable splendor. Already fully awake, Li Yiming, who was not at all sleepy at this time, couldn't help thinking of going out for a walk. Even though it is late night, the town of Rivera is still very lively. Many adventurers who went to explore deeper floors chose to return here one after another, ignoring the concept of time, and gathered in twos and threes, shouting and laughing. In the eyes of many people, this may be a romance for adventurers, but Li Yiming only thinks they are noisy. Putting on his coat, Li Yiming left the station. When passing by other rooms, he could vaguely hear the clanging sound coming from inside. It should be said that they are members of He Faith's family. Although I have never seen those people, judging from their current performance, this is the real blacksmith. In comparison, Li Yiming is more like a member of the exploration family. But that being said, if I were to stay in one room all day and concentrate on blacksmithing, it would be a kind of torture. Occasionally doing forging is okay, but if I take it as my main job, I will definitely go crazy. Shaking his head helplessly, Li Yiming can only admire these blacksmiths who can bear their temper. This is probably the difference in interest between people. Quickly leaving the area of the residence, passing through the noisy crowd on the street, Li Yiming chose to leave Rivera Town, chose a relatively quiet direction at random, and walked leisurely. Before he knew it, he had already left the confines of the town and came to an uninhabited area. The security floor is larger than imagined. It is not only in the town of Rivera that adventurers live, there are also adventurers stationed in this kind of suburban area. Some adventurers, who also don't like to be noisy, prefer to be stationed outside the town. Although the living environment may not be as good as Rivera town, and life is not convenient, but everyone has their own preferences, so I can't comment too much. In fact, the scenery in the suburbs is often more charming. Standing on the plain, feeling the breeze blowing from a distance, the comfort is like a mother stroking her hair. Li Yiming subconsciously closed his eyes and opened his arms. Feeling this long-lost comfort, he couldn't help but take a deep breath. The air is fresh and the scenery is pleasant, which is very suitable for picnics. It's a pity that I came here too hastily this time, and didn't bring suitable tools, otherwise I could really enjoy the rare and hard-won tranquility in this pleasant night. In other words, since I came to Olele, I really haven't enjoyed my life well. Although it didn't take too long to become an adventurer, since joining the Faith Familia, every day is either learning forging or entering the dungeon for leveling. Every day is really busy. To be honest, none of the pictures envisioned in advance have ever happened. Entering the dangerous dungeon, facing the roar of the monsters, the superb swordsmanship came out one after another, saving the rest of the adventurers from the fire and water, and then the monster was killed with one blow, leaving only the cute girl sitting on the ground, with a calm, handsome face. Talk about adventures with cute girls in the tavern, meet a beautiful elf girl, solve her troubles, and prevent her from being harassed by rough people, and form a team with cheerful and eclectic Amazon girls. Shuttle through the dangerous dungeon, followed by the supporters of the Palom girls. During the day and night, the feelings with all the girls became stronger and stronger, and finally lived happily with the goddess who was waiting for her return in the station. That kind of picture is really beautiful enough. P.S. New day, continue to ask for flowers, collections, evaluation tickets, monthly tickets for support. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 58 Pool, you are full of water, horse, you have 4 legs, 18,000 flowers plus more. In the world of sword and magic, there are not so many wonderful encounters as imagined. Shaking his head amusedly, Li Yiming couldn't help but wonder in his heart, when did he become so sentimental? It was really strange. What's more, now is not the time to think about these things. Although the current Olele is not in danger, it is not absolutely safe. When the real protagonist, Bel Cranel, the last hero of mankind, appears, the plot will go wild. At that time, whether it is heresy or Freya's actions, Olele will be thrown into chaos. To put it simply, Li Yiming must have sufficient strength at least before this time period. Today, he can't guarantee his personal safety in the middle level, and he is still too weak. Just take advantage of this time to practice leveling in the dungeon. In the morning, I followed Tsubaki to continue learning forging. In the afternoon, I went to the 16th or 15th floor to fight the Tauren. In the evening, I went back to the safe floor to rest and replenish supplies by the way. At least a long-term stay in the dungeon is required. It would be even better if you can accumulate enough proficiency and great achievements to upgrade when you leave the dungeon and return to the surface. Be sure, after all, he doesn't have that skill. If it doesn't work, he won't force too much. Even if he himself can't break the limits of the adventurer's ability value like Bell, and will lag behind in the growth of basic physical fitness, his biggest reliance is to travel through the simulation system. If other powerful worlds can be simulated in the future, the lag in this aspect can be ignored. For example, the physical strength of the world of One Piece is no worse than that of this world, or maybe it will be stronger. Time is really tight enough. The skills I have acquired only give me the possibility to become stronger, but if I want to become a real strong person, I still need to take one step at a time. After a little enlightenment in his heart, Li Yiming couldn't help but feel anticipation in his heart. He can't wait to upgrade. Huh. There seems to be the sound of water flowing over there. Is there a pool of water in the dungeon? Or is it only in the safe floor? The bursts of stream sound that appeared in the ears were captured by Li Yiming very clearly. The water quality of the streams in the mountains and forests is not only soft but also cold. It is the most suitable for soaking in it after exhaustion. The experience is absolutely indescribable. Li Yiming's eyes lit up suddenly. Dang even turned his direction and rushed towards the place where the sound came from. As early as when a person was wandering around, he had already come to the forest. As it continued to deepen, the top of Li Yiming was completely covered by a huge tree branch and leaf, and some trees were hung with sparse crystals. The faint light fell through the gaps in the leaves and shone on Li Yiming's body, forming a mottled shadows. In addition, blue crystals also grow from the cracks in the rocks on the ground, and through the dewdrops on the vegetation, they radiate colorful brilliance, making this night look even more beautiful. The sound of flowing water became an uproar in the ear cavity as it got closer and closer. Li Yiming's heart also became more and more looking forward to it. It seems that it is not as simple as a small pool, it seems that he has found a very amazing place, and the safe floor is full of surprises. Maybe some precious ores can be found in these places. It's here. Is it actually a waterfall? Pushing aside the dense branches and leaves, Li Yiming was immediately amazed by the beautiful scenery in front of him. The first thing that catches the eye is a purely natural waterfall. The water flowing down from the cliff is very spacious, with a height of about 20 meters. There is also a huge pool under the waterfall. The water in the pool is clear and bright. Even at night when the light is not bright, you can still see the bottom of the pool. Many kinds of strange aquatic creatures are playing happily under the water surface. Occasionally, some of them are frightened by the falling water, and rush to disperse, which is completely a natural scene. Seeing this scene, the genes hidden in Li Yiming's bones also started to move. He inexplicably wants to compose a poem. Raise your head, chest, abdomen, buttocks, a set of operations is smooth and smooth. Then he took a deep breath and said loudly, "Ah! Waterfall, you are full of water, horse, you have 4 legs. Good poem. Good poem." Simply satisfying his interest, Li Yiming didn't hesitate any longer, and even took off his coat, leaving only the innermost set of clothes, and then jumped into the pool directly. The moment of entering the water, the whole person quickly sank into the water. The cool touch hit instantly, making him start to tremble slightly involuntarily. The memories left in his previous life made Li Yiming instantly recall his swimming skills. Coupled with his strong physical fitness, he has surpassed the so-called world champion in his previous life, swimming happily under the pool like a fish. I don't know how long he held his breath underwater, but at least in Li Yiming's perception, he has swum a long distance. Just then, he seemed to hit something. When he surfaced subconsciously, what greeted him was a piercing scream, accompanied by fists. P.S. 18,000 flowers plus changes, it seems that 18 chapters are still owed, and it will be split directly. Thank you readers for your support. I will slowly fill it up later, it should be on the shelves in 2 days, and I will make it up after it is on the shelves. Thank you again. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 59. Isn't the dream encounter coming soon? 21,000 flowers plus more. What? A crisp scream sounded, which startled Li Yiming, who had just surfaced. He hurriedly opened his eyes, but before he could see what was going on, he watched a fist the size of a sandbag attack him, and he even forgot to dodge in his haste. Boom! The fist precisely hit Li Yiming's right eye socket. The force was not as strong as expected, but the force contained inside still made his brain feel dizzy. After all, the eyes are a fragile part of the human body. Even if Li Yiming has been strengthened by the ability value, it is still limited. At least not to the point where King Kong is indestructible. FK, what happened? Covering his eyes, Li Yiming subconsciously looked forward. An incomparably beautiful scenery is directly printed in the eyes. The long golden hair is scattered on the surface of the water, and the pointed ears are telling the identity of the woman in front of her. She is a beautiful girl from the elf tribe. Her naked body is hidden under the water. The girl's cheeks are flushed, and her eyes are full of moisture. Blocking the key parts with both hands and feet, looking at Li Yiming, who suddenly appeared in panic. In technical terms, it means that this beautiful elf girl is about to cry. Forward. Looking at the situation in front of him, Li Yiming probably also realized what the situation is now. If I didn't guess wrong, I was complaining not long ago that I hadn't met a romantic encounter, and it turned out that the encounter is here? Although, the timing of the encounter is not particularly suitable. Who knows that someone came under this waterfall ahead of time, playing in the pool, and it was actually a person of the opposite s*x, this joke is a bit big. Then what? This is a misunderstanding, I don't know anyone here, I'm really sorry. The soreness in his eyes gradually dissipated. In fact, Li Yiming can't control so much now. He seems to recognize the identity of the beautiful elf girl in front of him. If this matter is not handled well, then the matter will really it's big. He doesn't have the strength now to deal with the revenge of the Loki family. Not to mention that Loki, the main god of the Loki family, is also a main god who likes to harass beautiful girls, especially the female adventurers of his own family, who regard him as a treasure in his palm. If you let Loki know what happened today, it will be so cold. As one of the two most powerful families of Orario, the strength of the Loki family is unquestionable. Maybe the other party will not care too much about the face of the goddess He-Faith, but secretly they will definitely think about how many generals Yiming thought of death by 1,000 cuts. After all, that one is the real god of lies and tricks, and he can also be called the god of evil. Being able to rely on his intelligence to make most of the gods dare not provoke his woman, Li Yiming has no confidence to solve this troublesome matter. So the most urgent task now is to explain the misunderstanding clearly. Stop screaming, I can explain this matter, or I will turn around first, you put on your clothes first, and then we will talk slowly, don't worry, I won't run away. As if to show his attitude, Li Yiming took the initiative to turn around in the water. At this moment, another ordinary voice suddenly sounded. What happened, Rifia? Looking at the sound, Li Yiming's gaze froze for a moment. The same long blonde hair, also unkempt, even if he noticed Li Yiming's gaze, he still didn't make any indication. Instead, he tilted his head, as if thinking about it. Why did this man appear in this place? Even if she has been completely seen, it doesn't seem to be very important. Li Yiming froze in place, the corners of his eyes twitched slightly, and there was deep helplessness in his eyes. It seems that there is no need to struggle. He is really ready for euthanasia. Lefevrides and Ace Wallenstein are almost one of Rocky's favorite two children, and now it seems that there is no need to save them. Tired, destroy it? Rifia, who is he? Isai looked over Li Yiming's place and looked towards Rifia behind him, while continuing to ask. Rifia, who was awakened by the familiar voice, stopped her screaming, but the moment she saw Ace, when she realized something, when the small universe exploded, she directly passed Li Yiming's body and appeared in front of Ace. Senior Ace, quickly cover your body, don't let this nasty voyeur take advantage of you. Rifia blocked Isai behind her with both hands and feet, her tone was full of firmness, but what she didn't realize was that this kind of large-scale movement made herself more visible in Li Yiming's sight. Well, she is really a good sister who sacrifices herself for others. Li Yiming, who no longer wanted to struggle too much, no longer thought about what to do. He was going to die anyway, so it was better to enjoy the beautiful scenery in front of him. However, the happy time is always short-lived. What's wrong? Ace, Rifia. Another voice sounded, but compared with the voices of Isai and Rifia, this voice was obviously more carefree, and the straightforwardness of the owner of the words could be felt just by listening to it. Two girls with dark brown skin appeared at the same time, and when they saw Li Yiming, their expressions were different. Is there a peeper? Tiana, get him. P.S. Adding 21,000 flowers, today's adding more should end here. Thank you readers for your support, see you tomorrow. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 60. If you don't have the ability to fight, at least you must have the consciousness of going to death, thanks to the monthly ticket of 18356.